Elsa had to teach her daughter how to shoot every day. She taught her how to siphon gasoline from the tank and drive the car secretly in the middle of the night. Although her daughter strongly resisted, Elsa knew that in order to stay alive, her daughter had no choice but to follow her instructions. It all started with a bizarre disaster in the future world. People suddenly couldn't sleep. On the first day of insomnia, no one realized how serious it was. The price of sleeping pills skyrocketed, but even by the second day, they were hard to come by. Even if people were willing to pay a high price, even those who managed to get the pills still couldn't sleep. Even stranger, patients who had been paralyzed for decades suddenly regained their awareness. At first, Elsa didn't know about the global insomnia because her daughter could still sleep normally. So, she casually mentioned it to a colleague, who immediately took an interest and asked where her daughter was. Actually, there was also an elderly person who could still sleep, but they had been locked away in a research facility. When Elsa heard this, she quickly lied and said she couldn't remember and rushed home on her bike. Panicking, Elsa slammed the door open and called out her daughter's name. From her son, she learned that her daughter and grandmother had just left for the church. As Elsa and her son rushed to the church, they were surprised to find that Elsa's colleague had followed them all the way. He started urging Elsa to send her daughter to the research facility. He claimed that only by developing an antidote could humanity have hope. Elsa didn't have time to listen to his nonsense, so she quickly grabbed her bag and rushed out. By the third day of insomnia, everyone had started experiencing hallucinations. When Elsa arrived at the church, the people inside weren't about to let her daughter leave. Her colleague tried to explain the situation to everyone, but to his shock, a security guard had a hallucination and shot him. Elsa seized the opportunity and managed to escape with her daughter. At that moment, her son started convincing Elsa. He argued that running away like this wasn't as good as sending his sister to the research center. If they could find a cure, everyone would be saved. After hearing her son's plea, Elsa's resolve began to waver. So, they decided to head to the research facility. By the fifth day of insomnia, half of humanity was in deep trouble. Elsa still couldn't bring herself to send her daughter to the research center, so she asked her son to wait for her in the car while she went into the library to grab a book. While she was there, she also took the opportunity to teach her daughter how to shoot. The girl was reluctant, but she had no choice but to follow her mother's plan. However, just after Elsa demonstrated shooting a gun, she saw her son appear in front of her. He angrily asked why she shot at him. Elsa was at a loss. Her son had been in the car. How could he suddenly appear here? Clearly, Elsa was starting to have hallucinations as well. When they finally walked out of the library, they found themselves surrounded by prisoners. The prisoners slowly shuffled toward Elsa like zombies. It turned out that the warden had also begun hallucinating and had secretly released all the prisoners. But because Elsa had a gun, the prisoners seemed hesitant to rush her. Still, they slowly closed in on her. One shot was enough to make them back off a little, but Elsa soon realized that her gun was empty. Just then, a car pulled up in front of them and signaled for Elsa to get in. Without thinking, she jumped in. From their conversation, she learned that the person was also a prisoner, but he had been a severe insomniac before, so he was still able to stay awake.